Hi everybody, do you hear that? Late season fall songsters. We're in the 60s here today and we have been in the 40s at night, and everything is the sign of autumn arriving. That's a turkey vulture up there. We've been watching a steady procession of turkey vultures and black vultures for several weeks now. And today, there are catbirds everywhere. There's bay-breasted warblers and more black poles, and some that we aren't getting because they're really high up, but it is fall. It is so beautiful, and so I just wanted to take you on a tour of our old field trail. So Steve and I are home from our adventures. Our last stop was the Cumberland Gap in Virginia. If you've not been, we so recommend you go. There were caterpillars everywhere. Incredible slug moth caterpillars, Luna caterpillars, you know, those beautiful green Luna moths. Oh, the trees are beautiful. There were pods of migrating birds everywhere. The campground is super nice. Cumberland Gap National Historic Park, or preserve. Check it out, it's great. So it filled us up, and our black bear sightings filled us up too. And now we are so glad to be home and show you this and show us this. So I don't know if you have paid attention, but we've been paying attention over the years to the incredible aroma when you are in a goldenrod field. It is awesome. And I've definitely bound together dried goldenrod in the past, and it just smells beautiful. I know Native Americans used it in different ways, so make sure you use your nose when you're out. These are the cut plants all done for the season, and the goldfinches have been hitting them so hard. I talk about the cut plants constantly because they are adored by so much wildlife. So sunflower family, I'm sure that doesn't surprise you that they're adored by so many. I got to sit and watch this morning one of the adult goldfinches with a twittering baby sitting right beneath her, and then she stuffed a mouthful of seeds right into that baby's mouth. It's awesome. So much cool life around us. This is the New England aster just coming on. Before I turned the camera on, I saw a monarch. I didn't see any yesterday, so they are definitely been moving through. The dogwoods are really starting to put on some beautiful reds. I'm hoping with the cooling down in the temps, we actually had a frost the other morning, a light one, but I'm hoping with these cooling of temps, everything will get to turn their beautiful autumnal colors this year. Because in the past few years, they've just gotten frozen and then dropped. And that kind of sucks. When you live in the east, you want those fall colors. Check this goldenrod. Oh, it's beautiful. This right here is one of the persimmons that we paid for. So this is a Yates. We have 4 of them. Still American persimmons, but selected and grafted. So maybe we'll get fruits on those sooner than others. We'll see. Listen to all the crickets, tree crickets. The blackberry fruits are long gone. You know, leaving on our trip in September is so wonderful in so many ways. We were a little early for the persimmon fruiting that we hoped to find, but we did find some ripe ones in Cumberland Gap. But it's hard to leave here when you are somewhere so much. You really pay attention to the cycles of nature, and they become a part of you. And we definitely found, while we were away, thinking about Who was moving through? There we go, monarch! Who was using this land? Who were we missing witnessing their life? And I don't think that I used to be like that, and Steve as much either. But when you spend so much time observing and putting your hand in the earth and working on restoration and inviting life back, it takes on a whole new level of meaning and importance in your heart. Who's there? A little fly nectaring. So these goldenrods don't have a ton of nectar per flower, but they have so many flowers that they offer a huge abundance of pollen and nectar to bees and flies. I've seen hummingbirds nectaring on these, wasps. They are the heavy hitters around here. There is no doubt about it. And they are such successful colonizers of land that was mowed grass. It's remarkable to me that such a resilient plant even exists. And here we have, looks like a Chinese mantid. Woo! Well, hi there. I got a honeybee. Looks like you're having a tasty meal. Wow, they're powerful, aren't they? And so yeah, the asters and the goldenrod, just being able to do what they do and compete with this stuff. I mean, that's what this all was. It's unbelievable in my mind. All these European grasses are either getting displaced by the native goldenrods and dogwoods and asters and various other trees, or they're just coexisting. And then there's so many specialist bees on goldenrods and asters. They're really critical pieces of your ecosystem. So what do you think? Look at this windy trail. I am about halfway through, and right in here is where Steve spotted that red bat that night. So we always still, of course, look. But we've not seen another one yet. Now I hear a robin. So the robins definitely move through here as well. And they're in here with the roughleaf and silky dogwoods, eating the fruits that are so abundant. And the catbirds have been in there. And in the morning where we sit, there's a south window and we can see these snags, these tree snags, and they're all covered in Virginia creeper. And the catbirds, there were 3 on one little section of vine this morning, gulping down those berries. I mean, really gulping is the right word. So that's a native rose. Look at it mixed together. I just love these colors so much. Red and gold, purple, green, magenta, and the brown of the ironweed seeds. And the song of the catbird. We are glad to hear you, catbird. And look at this up here. This is calico aster. Check this out. The wasps here on calico aster must be offering some good stuff. And I brush past so many bees, especially the honeybees on the goldenrod. And I mean, I seriously run into them, and they have not stung me yet because they haven't got pinched. So for that, I'm grateful. And we'll do a little bit of trail trimming later, but not right now when these food sources are so critical. When we were touring around here yesterday, these patches of the trail that have soil exposed, a lot of them have ants, and there were snakes in them. So probably, maybe, I don't know if they would eat any of those ants, but they were definitely sunning on those patches. Look at this. It's just gorgeous. I mean, summer is, every season is so brilliant, and you think you can't get any better, and then it does. And then you get to go through the cycle again. So it's kind of bright out, but I hope that you all are getting a really good taste of what this old field feels like in mid to late September. And you can see, if I can get it to focus, that honeybee has a ton of pollen. Looks like goldenrod pollen. There's insects zipping around all through the air. I'm squinting like a maniac to see, but I cannot resist being out here. Any home chores at this time of year are really hard for me to accomplish. I don't know about you all, but Steve and I mean, we just want to soak up every last bit of this out here. And look, I mean, who's this? Somebody's been digging in this trail, we've been noticing it. Skunk? Maybe. These days are so radiant and warm, and the sun is dropping so fast in the sky. And so I'm excited about winter, even though it's also challenging for me. It gives me opportunities to do some other things because I cannot resist the pull to be outside on days like this. Everything that seems like needs to be done goes through the filter of, does it really need to be done? Other than feeding the cats and feeding ourselves. Does the vacuuming really need to happen? Okay, sure, we've got hairballs everywhere. Is that more important than being out here and soaking up the brilliance of the autumnal season and witnessing the birds that are traveling to South America, or southern South America, Florida, anywhere that are, I mean, it's all just incredible. These birds are winging through the night, the insects are winging overhead. Other insects are preparing for dormancy. There's 2 tiger swallowtails on our tulip poplar right now, and they are in about their last instar. So they will be overwintering as the chrysalis, and it's so heartening to see them there because it's been a really difficult butterfly season. And so they'll overwinter, and then hopefully next spring will be easier and they'll be able to repopulate in a huge way. So that's my filter. Sometimes I get so dramatic because I even say to myself, if I am going to die tonight, what should I be doing today? And that really brings things into perspective. These aren't quite ripe yet. Soon. So it's nice that they kind of ripen over different periods. So that's rough leaf. Here's some that are ripe. See how they're white? So those are ripe. And most of those are gone. So don't think I'm morbid. I just acknowledge that we're all going to die. And when you pay attention so closely to nature, you see that death is constant and it's a part of life. And so making peace with it in the best way that you can and living every day like you are going to die at some point. It really helps. And then you just see like these aspen leaves flapping in the wind. Look at that. Is that not about the most beautiful thing you've ever seen? Look at those chloroplasts in there, making those leaves green. Helping the tree make the food, making the food that they will use to get through winter. Astonishing. These things that we were taught in science class often, I think, is so important to be taught that in that way, but then to filter it through the lens of artistry and creativity and spirituality. That's when it takes on significant meaning. I can admire science for the facts because that's my degree. I love science, I always have. But then you add in that there's more than can be explained. And that's what I've always felt. And then suddenly you have to give everything much more consideration than you would have. You say, oh, I can't cut that tree down. Okay, yeah, it will regrow, I know that, but this tree put 20 years of effort into growing. That's to be admired, it's to be respected, and not to be taken lightly. And our very own lives are not to be taken lightly, are they? And look at that. There's probably a 15-degree difference in the shade. But we're almost finished with the Oldfield Trail. If you have stuck with me, woo, look at that, because we're at 17 minutes. Hello, American persimmon. I love you. And here's our others. These are the first ones we put in. If this is a female, because they're dioecious, if this is a female, Steve and I are going to be so excited. We'll have to take a video the first time they fruit. But we hope that one's a female because that tree's definitely the biggest persimmon that we have. So here we are, friends. The end of the Oldfield Trail. Pure magic. Feeding my soul, Steve's soul, and certainly feeding the lives of so many others. Maybe their soul too. I think they think as much as we do. I hope not. Okay, more later. There we go, just for the end. Look close. Do you see? Dropping really low. 2 monarchs, just for you all. Take care.